The Boston Red Sox have taken game 4 of the series against Baltimore 12-2, a big game for them. Tie the series now 2-2. They can win the series tomorrow in game 5 of the series, a weird 5-game series. But let's get into this game. My name is Derek. I'm here with Doug, and you're watching Red Sox Recap on Bleacher Brawls. Big game for the Red Sox, obviously, a 12-2 victory, massive victory, obviously, putting up 12 runs on the board. Most of the first half of the runs were by the home run ball. The other half were just by getting consecutive hits. I'll throw it over to Doug. Thoughts on the game as a whole?
This game, very good. It's a very good game we had today. 5 home runs, and only one of them from a guy that we expect to hit home runs right now. Okay. The offense has been better of late, but the other guys haven't been hitting home runs, right? The main, Devers, Bogarts, Trevor Story, and JD have been hitting home runs. The other guys, not so much. So today, aside from Devers, we got Dalbec, Cordero, Arroyo, and Kike all hit home runs. 12 runs on 16 hits. That's what you want to see. That's what we know the Red Sox can do when they're going hot. So that's a very good sign, and hopefully we have a lot more of that to come.
Yeah, I mean, big game for the offense. The bottom 4 of this lineup today: Vasquez, Dalbec, Arroyo, and Cordero. And I'll even include Jackie Bradley Jr. because he did pinch hit in this kind of conversation. Seems like some of these guys are kind of finding their place in the team. Vasquez is hitting, it's been ridiculous. He's up to 302 on the season, which sounds ridiculous because it felt like a week ago he was hitting 220. But
yeah, I think I saw a stat. He's gone 20 for 47 or something. Like
wait till you hear this.
Yeah, sorry if I just blew up your spot, but
no, I got that's fine. The last 15 games, he's hitting 412 with a 455 on base and a 569 slugging. Over the last 7 games, he's hitting 520 with a 556 on base and a 760 slugging. He is been ridiculous as of late. You move on to Dalbec. Hopefully, he's got 2 homers in 2 days, so hopefully it's maybe the sign of things starting to turn a little bit in his favor. Christian Arroyo, he's starting to put a couple things together this series, so maybe that's he's starting to turn the corner as well. I'll include Jackie Bradley Jr. because he pinched it for Arroyo. He got another hit today. He's in 227 on the year. And he's been amazing at home. On the road, not great. But you take what you get from him, and if he's going to hit over 300 the whole year at home, you're more than happy with it. And then Franchy Cordero, 282. He's hitting 282 after today, and an 825 OPS. He has only 2 less extra base hits than Andrew Benintendi this year, and he's done it in over 100 less plate appearances. I mean, talk about reverse
that
Franchy. Yes, talk about
right?
Talk about reversing the talk of that trade. I mean, especially this series with Winkowski making a start. Wasn't the greatest start, but he still made his MLB debut. Yeah, it's been big for the team, especially if these guys get going to complement that top, 5 to 6 guys.
Yeah, I think I'm most impressed with Franchy. We had the grand slam to win the game a couple days ago, and home run now, and he's been taking walks since he got called up, right? And that's a huge thing. And now the home runs are starting to come, right? It's like this year he wasn't trying to only hit home runs. Like, he wasn't going boom or bust this year, and he's becoming a nice complement piece, filling in at right field, filling in first base. So I'd like to see him playing more full time. I know he's playing, if there were 7 games a week, he'd be in 6 of them, 5 of them maybe. But, I think he needs to be playing all the time. Platoons be damned. I think he's earned his shot at this point.
Yeah, and he's always been a guy with those very tantalizing skills, those very tantalizing tools, that's kind of power speed combo that he has. That's why so many teams have gone after that's why the Padres gave him a shot. That's why the Royals gave him a shot. That's why the Red Sox gave him a shot. He has that thing where if you can figure it out, and you have a player in there, but you have to figure it out. And I think Franchy and the Red Sox may have figured it out. I'm not saying he's going to be an all-star, but he's proven so far this year that he can be an everyday player, and I think that's huge for the team.
Yeah, there's three people I like to watch run the bases a lot. First one, Duran. Love watching that guy run the bases. Trevor Story is stealing bases like crazy, and it's just fun to watch Franchi run the bases.
Yeah.
Big, tall, strides. You think he's kind of slow, awkwardly, too tall and whatnot, but he can move, and
Oh my
it's fun
gosh.
watching him. It is
Yeah.
real fun watching him run the bases.
Yeah, he's one of the fastest guys on the team. I think he's just behind Duran and Story this year for sprint speed. He's legitimately fast, and I was looking ahead towards next year a little bit. The Red Sox outfield options next year it could easily be your three options are Verdugo, Duran, and Franchi. Because we don't know if Jackie's coming back. We don't know if Kike's coming back. As of right now, Verdugo, he's been unlucky this year. Definitely been unlucky, but he's still a very good everyday player. Franchi's proven that he can be an everyday player this year. And Duran's just tearing the cover off the ball in AAA. They just don't have room for him in the lineup right now at the big league level. So, and it's also similar thing with Tristan Casas at first base. He's being blocked because Franchi's playing so well, and because they got to play Franchi at first because they don't really have room in the outfield with Jackie having such great defense out there, and they liking that defense so much. Franchi's playing first, and he's tearing the cover off the ball. It holds Casas, blocks Casas, but like for Duran and Casas, that might not be a bad thing because now you're not rushing them because you have a need. You're not going to call them up until you know that they're ready instead of trying to rush up to fill a hole in a playoff race.
Yeah, you're right. Moving on to you have anything else to say about the hitting today?
No.
All right. So I'll move on to Pavetta. Pavetta had, another good game in his string of good games over the, recent weeks since the month turned to May, right?
Besides his first three starts, he's been stellar.
Right. So 6 innings pitched, 5 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 5 Ks and 106 pitches. Was followed up by 2 innings by Houck, and then 1 the last inning pitched by Valdez, and Valdez did give up another earned run. In his first appearance since he's back, I think, right?
Yeah, his first appearance. I'm pretty sure. And maybe it's a second, but I'm pretty sure it's first.
Yeah. So overall, good pitching day. Only 2 runs for the Orioles. Pavetta looks great again, and in another day that kind of saved the bullpen because Nate went a complete game, and then the bullpen was used yesterday.
Yeah.
And then today only Houck and Valdez pitched. So I didn't see how many pitches Houck did. I know he pitched
only 14. Only 14.
Only 14 innings. All right. So so he might be able to come back, bounce back from that a little quicker than the normal 5 days when he goes 3 innings.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Now I do want to talk about Houck for a second. I wonder if the team's going to kind of move him into kind of a shorter role instead of less innings per outing, but maybe more of an essential piece of the bullpen, considering their bullpen's had some trouble. And you could see Whitlock move into a similar role later in the season when Sale gets healthy and Paxton get healthy, because you're going to need these guys in the bullpen because there's just not room for them in the rotation. So I think that's important. Nick Pavetta in his last 7 starts, including today, a 2.30 ERA, and he only walked 10 guys in his last 7 starts. That includes the 3 walks today. So if you go to his last 6 starts, not including today, that was only 7 walks. And that's been the big thing for him. In his first 3 starts, he walked 9 guys. That's the big thing. If he doesn't walk guys and he can, and his stuff is on, he's going to be, borderline ace, which is what he's been so far this year. I was kind of someone who I expect him to take a jump, but I didn't expect for him to take that number 2 borderline ace jump that a lot of people expected him to take. But he's proven in his last 7 starts that he can be that kind of pitcher. And it's only a matter of time where he might be handed the keys to the rotation because Eovaldi could be gone after this year and Sale can't stay healthy.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see an issue with that. Right now, I would trust him. He's not the big name like Jacob deGrom, guy you want as your, de facto ace, but he's pitching, like a solid number 2 and borderline number 1. You feel good about him going into a start, and you feel good about getting a win. Which right now with the Red Sox, especially just this last series, is kind of uneasy feeling, right? We had the horrible game 1, right? We all thought we were going to win that when we had it. It was 8-2 or something.
6-0, then 8-2. Yeah.
Yeah. And then it just bullpen meltdown. It just fell apart.
Yeah.
And then game 3.
Game 3 is just no offense, realistically.
Yeah, game 3.
It was one bad inning on the mound, and then no offense.
Yep, a 3-run home run by Odor, I think. So yeah. And it's like, when are we going to start playing 600 baseball against the AL East, right? I mean, this
exactly.
They're in last place. I know they're better. They're a lot better than last year. I think they're 10 games less in the loss column. Hopefully I said that right. 10 games less in the loss column at this point when they had the same amount of wins last year. So 10 games sooner, I guess I'm trying to say. So they are better, but it's like we still should be winning more. So we have a chance to win the series tomorrow. Hopefully we do. I think that would make everything a little better. I know you predicted that if we go
5-2 in the 5-2 in the 7-game stretch.
5-2 over this 7-game series of the Orioles and the Reds, that you'd feel comfortable, and that would put us back over 500. So all we need to do, I think we're 2 under 500. So if we win tomorrow and then the 2 against the Reds, then we're 1 game over 500.
The only thing, though, that's easier said than done, because look who the Red Sox starting against us. They have Luis Castillo in game 1, and they have Hunter Green in game 2. Green's had some up and downs, but when he's on, he's been on. And Luis Castillo is clearly the best pitcher on that team. But I don't even think it's close. Molly's the only guy who's somewhat close to him. And
I think the Reds have been putting up some runs lately.
Yeah, they've won like 13 of their last 21, I think. They've been really hot.
It's unfortunate that we get them now.
I know.
If they're still hot. But hopefully, these are teams you should beat. You should beat the Orioles, and you should beat the Reds.
Exactly. And the one thing, though, too, in this, if you go back to the start of this kind of winning streak and that Braves series, and you look at it, the Red Sox, they've only lost 1 game where they scored more than 4 runs, and that was the first game of this series. The true difference between them winning and losing so far has been their ability to score in games.
They're scoring in bunches.
Exactly. That's the thing. Like, I don't know how many games they won where they scored 4 or less, but it's not many. I don't even know if they have one with scoring 4 or less in this stretch. And it doesn't look like it to me. It doesn't look like it. So they got to score more than 4. More than 4, and you're good. You get 3 or less, 4. You get less than 4 or less, then you're losing games. So that's what the Red Sox have to figure out. But also, too, you got to look at this team in this sense too. Before we wrap this up, you got to look at it in this sense. This team, need the guys playing well like they are now. Like Kike, you need him to get going. You need JD to continue playing well. Bogarts, Vasquez, Jackie Bradley, Evaldi. You need to get Hansel Robles back and get him on. You know why? Because if you're good, all those guys are going to be key parts of your team, and you can add on to that at the deadline. But if you're bad, if they're playing well, you can get more for them at the deadline. So regardless of how this season goes, you need the guys, especially on the short-term deals, to pick it up and play well. Like JD's been amazing so far. Bogarts has been good. But you need a guy like Kike to pick it up. Vasquez has been very good. He might, if the Red Sox sell at the deadline, he'll be one of the top catchers on the market right behind Wilson Contreras if he keeps on hitting like this. That's the thing. Regardless of how this year turns out, Red Sox need these guys to play well. They need it because regardless of what happens, either they're going to be the core pieces of your team to add on to, and you add on to them at the deadline, or you're bad, you Red Sox fade off and you got to sell, and you can hopefully get more because they're playing well.
Yeah. So before we wrap it up, I'll add on to what you were just saying. The Red Sox could be buyers and sellers at the deadline. Like, they could do both, mix things around. I don't have a set idea yet, but maybe that's a video for later date. What can the Red Sox do to be buyers and sellers at the deadline? That'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
And
well, I will bring an idea up actually right before. Flip Kike, and then you call it Duran, and then maybe, but then you maybe buy in the bullpen and bring in a late inning arm.
Yeah,
something like that.
To go to my final point is they need a closer. That first game, the whole bullpen, like everyone in the bullpen shit their pants, right? But in the 9th inning, when it was still tied 8-8, we did not have a closer to come in and shut them down in the top of the 9th. We didn't end up scoring a run, but then maybe it goes to extra. It's just, we've been saying this. We said it on our podcast that we need a closer, and we need one quickly because we keep on blowing games that can be won in the late innings. And it's just not acceptable.
And it's rough too because there isn't a lot of options realistically. If the Braves are bad, Kenley Jansen's your best option, but I don't know if the Braves are going to sell if they're bad because they still might think, hey, we can turn around like last year. But also, your next best option might be Gregory Soto, and would the Tigers want to give up a guy who has 3 more years of control? Probably not. And so your best option would be like Whitlock or Houck, or maybe Matta comes out like ridiculous out of his rehab and pitches well in AAA, and they say, you know what, boom, get in the bullpen. But realistically, there's not a lot of options for the Red Sox, so they got to figure something out that closer spot.
Yep, you're right. Yep.
Yeah, they have to. But that's going to wrap this up. Thanks for tuning into this Red Sox recap. Make sure to check out all the links in the description. The website, podcast, Instagram, Twitter, all the crew's Twitter is also down there in the description. Make sure to check out all our other videos. Check out our Prospect Pipeline series. Check out all our other videos. We will have a video on covering the New York Mets that'll come up later today. And check out everything else. The Red Sox got to turn it around.
Yep. One alibi. Sorry. I just want to send a shout out to Ted Williams in honor of this video coming out on Memorial Day. A World War II vet who stopped, right? World War II?
Yeah.
Who's a
pilot. It has to be.
I don't know why I just had a brain fart, but sorry. I know this is going a little longer,
it's
but
fine.
I got to because of Memorial Day. Ted Williams stopped playing baseball to go serve his country, came back, played base, picked it up, and killed it. Hall of Famer, Red Sox legend. Thank you, Ted Williams. Thank you, all those who have given their lives in service of this country. Thank you.
Couldn't have put it any better. Thank you to all those serve our country. And make sure, like I said, check out all the links, check out all our previous videos. Have a video coming up on the Mets later today, and another Prospect Pipeline on Wednesday, and the Yankees video on Friday. So make sure to keep an eye out for all those. My name is Derek, and I'm here along with Doug on this Red Sox recap on Bleacher Brawls, and we'll see you next time.